Hi everyone, Yana is here and you're watching the Inspired by Pinterest video series. For my today's video, I decided to use these stamps from Hero Arts. This is the brushstroke stamp set, and I very much liked the central stamp there with the circular brush strokes. When I tested it the first time, it kind of reminded me about the flowers, about the peony flowers. So I decided it would look really nice if I used it to create sort of a peony pattern or like a background stamped pattern for my card. So this is what I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be stamping a flower pattern using a brushstroke stamp from Hero Arts. I've picked several different colors of inks from Clear Snap, and most of these are pigment inks, while that one in the white packaging, the one I'm using right now, is a dye ink from Stephanie Bernard. And I have different colors of pinks, different shades, and a little bit maybe of a sort of like a violet-ish color, I guess. So I'm starting out my stamping on a piece of scratch paper that I have laying behind my card base. Now, my card base is made out of regular white cardstock. This is just plain, smooth white cardstock. And the one that I'm using is called Premium White from Dove Craft, but you can use any kind of cardstock you like. So I have a little piece of paper here, and I'm testing my stamping before I move on to stamping the flower onto my card front. So I'm doing this to make sure that my cards, the colors that I choose match each other and that they are not too bright or not too pale for my stamping. So I'm experimenting with different colors and seeing which ones I like and which ones I don't. And I'm basically just playing and stamping the flowers, trying to create visual triangles on the front of my card. So first I used this bubblegum ink pad from Stephanie Bernard from Clear Snap, and now I'm moving on to a berry ink pad. The color is called Berry, and that is a pigment ink from Clear Snap. And I'm simply inking my stamp, and I'm creating a visual triangle on the front of my card. Now, this is because I'm mostly using pigment ink for my stamping. It's important to not to touch it after you've stamped. It does take a little longer to dry than the dye ink, so I'm trying to be very careful here and trying not to smear any of the stamping that I have. It won't smear very much, but it can still smear just a bit, so I'm trying to be careful here and avoid touching my stamping with my hands. Now I'm moving on to a different color of ink, and the one that I'm using is from Doodlebug. Now this is the exact same Clear Snap ink. It was just produced for Doodlebug, and the color that I'm playing with right now is called Cupcake. So if you noticed, I'm starting out with a lighter color, and then I'm moving to a darker color to create my stamping. Now this is not exactly the right way to do it. I would recommend starting with a darker color and then moving on to a lighter color. But because I was lazy and because I didn't want to clean my stamp after every stamping, I decided to start with a lighter color and then move to a darker color. This way, I didn't have to clean my stamp every time after every stamped image, because I wasn't worried that my lighter ink would transfer onto a darker ink pad. Now, if you were to stamp the dark ink first and then pick up the lighter ink, that would most definitely transfer the dark ink onto a lighter ink pad, and that would sort of contaminate your ink pad in a way. Now, if you can also see, I decided not to mask the top fold portion of my card, so my stamping is not only on my card front, but it also is moving, or sort of like it also overlaps slightly onto the back portion of my card. I thought that was a really cool idea, and it would create a nice continuous stamped design. So that's why I didn't mask that that fold area there. I did want to do it at first. I even grabbed some washi tape and I almost adhered it down there, but then I thought, I don't want to mask it. I want to leave it as is, and I want to let my stamps stamp not only on the front but also on the back of my card. After I've stamped those lighter colored inks, I moved on to some darker colors. And the ones that I'm using right now are called Raspberry and Boysenberry. Those are once again pigment inks from Clear Snap. So I filled in the central portion of my card, the front of my card, and then I moved on to the back. Now, after I was done with that, I discovered that there's still a portion of card front that didn't have any stamping on it. So I decided to stamp one more flower, and for that I went back to a lighter color of ink, and for this particular stamping I'm using a color called Chevy Pink from Clear Snap. Now these ink pads that I'm using, they're all available in full-size ink pads, but some of them I have in a full-size ink pad, and then some of them I have in this paint box from Clear Snap. But you know, if you prefer larger ink pads, like full-size ink pads, you can get these in a full-size ink pads as well, not just these little tiny stamp ink pads. Now, to create a sentiment for this card, I decided to use this lovely stamp set from Hero Arts, and I very much liked this Your Very Special sentiment. Now, to create my stamping, I decided to use this black, it's called Onyx Black VersaFine ink from Tsukineko. I absolutely love it for stamping sentiments. It's also a pigment ink, but it's nice and crisp, and it doesn't take very long to dry, so I'm very comfortable, I guess, with using it for my stamped images. Now, for this particular project, I decided to not only make a card, but also create a matching envelope. So I took out We Are Memory Keepers envelope punch board, and I made a little envelope out of some pink cardstock, and this is some just regular textured cardstock from Doodlebug. So I created a matching envelope, and then I decided that I needed to add some of that stamped pattern paper, or that stamped pattern, to the inside of my envelope, just to make it a little bit more, I guess, matching, and to create sort of like a set. So that's what I did. I created another stamped square, I guess, and then I made sure it would fit on the inside of that envelope that I had. Now, this is all for today. This finishes up my card and my envelope. I really hope that you enjoyed, and I thank you for watching. Please be sure to click like, comment, and share this video with your friends. Thank you.